Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well and having a fantastic week. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you about how to look after your birds when you are sick. Now, unfortunately, David and I have had the thing that's been going around for the last couple of years. I'm not going to say what it is because apparently YouTube doesn't like it when you do that. But you can probably guess what I'm talking about. It's our first experience of it and it was horrific. Obviously, David didn't have a good time with it either, and my symptoms were quite severe as well. Wasn't really expecting that. I don't really know what I was expecting, but it wasn't nice. Still not 100% either, but I wanted to get a video out to talk about this because it's a really important topic, because I think a lot of us, because we care so much for our birds, we feel really guilty when, you know, we just haven't got the energy, or, you know, we're just unwell and we can't give them the standard of care that we want to. So I wanted to give you some sort of tips and tricks and thoughts about how to look after your birds when you are sick. Firstly, I wanted to stress that it's really important to be kind to yourself. It's so easy to, as I said already, feel this guilt or the stress and things of wanting to do things normally, but if you haven't got the energy, it's not going to be a normal experience, and your birds are going to be fine and they're going to adapt and cope. So don't worry too much about them. They are very adaptable, and then once you are feeling better, you can make it up to them and then do lots of extra fun things with them too. The next thing that is totally okay is to give your birds less out of cage time, or just shorter outings, maybe broken up throughout the day. Again, when we are unwell, our reaction times are slower, our awareness isn't as good, and we just haven't got the energy to make sure that we're supervising our birds when they're out and about. Now, if your bird has an aviary or a completely bird safe room, that's awesome, you don't have to worry too much. But if they have lovely flight cages and things like that that we have here, obviously we have to be supervising our birds because there are some dangers in the room if we weren't watching them, things like wires and stuff like that. So it's important to remember it's okay to have less out cage time while you're unwell, and then you can make it up to them when you're feeling better. Leading on from this as well, it's also really important not to just leave your birds out unsupervised because you want to give them the same amount of out of cage time you would normally. Again, if we're not paying any attention to them and they're not in a completely bird safe room or aviary, there's a good chance that they might get into mischief because they're not being moved away from it like they normally would, and we don't want our birds to be in any bother as well if we're already sick and we're already a bit stressed out. So your bird is going to be fine with less out of cage time temporarily, just while you're unwell. Now, to make sure that your bird is still stimulated and busy, you can give them more toys in their cage. Again, make sure your bird knows how to play with toys. I've got a video on that, link at the top and down below. But you can give them more foraging toys and things to do, foraging trays at the base of the cage, maybe even a substrate base as well, and lots of other lovely toys for them. And then that means that they're going to be busy, they're going to be stimulated, and then they can spend a little bit more time in the cage just while you're getting better, and then they can do lots of other lovely things when they're out and about when you are feeling better. Now, one of the other things that you can do if your bird already has a beautifully furnished cage with lots of fun toys and foraging opportunities is to make sure you've got lots of DIY toy parts and foot toys as well. Now, I was really pleased with myself that I kind of already planned for this in a way. Like, I didn't plan to get sick, but we always have lots and lots of goodies in stock for the birds, so we've always got things for them to do. And before I got sick, I did a really big northern parrots order, and I got loads of these, which are solar sticks, and they are one of Pickles' favourite things to chew up at the moment, aren't they? So I can just pop them at the base of the cage for her and the other birds, and they go down and chew it. They don't last very long, but they keep them really busy. And we also have our all-time favourite DIY toys, which are paper straws. We just cut straws into thirds, we fill them with hemp seeds and sunflower seeds, just sort of fold off the edges and then give them to the birds, and it is their favourite thing to play with. That keeps them busy for a good 20 minutes. And that means, you know, they're busy and they're enjoying something, they're doing some foraging, and it's really easy for me to do. If I've got 5 minutes where I feel a bit more with it, I can just make up some more straws, and then they can be busy and enjoying lots of fun things while I'm maybe resting a little bit. Now, one of the things we always like to do, and luckily again we had planned already, is having lots of dry mix in stock. So whether you feed your birds pellets, dry mix, or whatever dry ingredients you need. So say for example you're not feeling well, you're not able to go to the supermarket to get a chop or whatever it is, and you don't have any in the freezer because that's not what you do, at least you've got lots and lots of dry mix or pellets in your cupboard, so your bird isn't going to go without, and they're going to be totally fine just having dry meals just while you're unwell. Obviously, in an ideal world, we'll still feed them the normal diet of having chop and sprouts and all different kinds of things like that. But if you have no energy, like I've had no energy, then it's totally fine to just give them a dry meal. But again, luckily for us, we did have enough food in for them with chop and sprouts and things, and I am a bit stubborn as well, so even though I could barely get out of bed and I couldn't stand up for very long, I was still making sure that I was going to the kitchen, feeding the birds first thing in the morning, and just making sure they had everything they needed. Now with this, everyone is different, but I found that trying to get those essential things done first thing in the morning really made a massive difference. So doing any poo picking I needed to do, any kind of toy making I needed to do, any food prep, anything like that, I found that just after I got out of bed was probably the most energy I was going to have all day. So I made sure to do any essentials I had to do for the birds first thing. You're sometimes going to get different peaks of energy depending on, you know, your illness or whatever it is throughout the day, but I just found it was just so much easier to know that I got everything done first thing and the birds were going to be okay and they're going to have all the different things that they needed, all the foods and DIY toys and all that kind of stuff. Now this one is quite a serious one, so I did want to mention it, but if you are going for a nap, whether you feel well or not, please, I cannot stress this enough, please put your bird back in the cage or away from you. There have been so many horror stories recently of people going for naps, so unfortunately our birds want to crawl all over us, they want to crawl under us, and if we're turning over, tossing and turning when we're napping, bad things are going to happen. So please, you do not need to nap with your bird. If you are planning on falling asleep or you're feeling tired, put them somewhere safe where they can't come into harm's way. You can enjoy your nap in peace. They can maybe have a nap in their cage and have some independent play, and then everyone is going to stay nice and safe. One of the other awesome things that you can do for your bird is play them lots of different kinds of music. Now I don't recommend bird sounds, but our guys absolutely love having the Alexa on and we play dance music, pop music, rock music, whatever they're in the mood for that day. And it's just another way of enriching them. We call it auditory enrichment, so it's sounds and things that they can enjoy and listen to. Our guys all really enjoy different types of music. Some make them sleepy, some make them excited, and it's another way of giving them something that's mentally stimulating for them during the day while you are otherwise occupied. Now, a video you may find useful to kind of prepare for this scenario and make sure you've got all the tools in your tool belt is actually my video on how to keep your bird busy and happy when you leave the house, because it's kind of a similar thing. If you're not going to be around your bird as much because you are laying in bed, for example, or you just need to be in your space because you're not feeling well, then there are lots of tips in that video that can kind of keep your bird busy and occupied, because it's kind of similar when you go out the house, you're just not spending as much time with your bird. So do go and check that video out after this one. Again, links above and down below for anything that I've mentioned throughout this video. And the last tip I have for you, which is arguably one of the most important, is to make sure you're taking care of yourself as well. The more you take care of yourself, the quicker you're going to get better, and then you can get back to your normal routine with your birds. So make sure that you're not being stubborn like me and overworking yourself and burning out immediately. Make sure that you're taking things slow, you're following the tips in this video, and you are giving yourself time to heal and feel better as well. So that brings me to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any tips and tricks that you found if you've been unwell that's helped you to kind of manage your birds and make sure they're still getting everything they need. I'm hoping that Dave and I are going to start feeling more with it and everything soon and much better, but as I said, unfortunately we've still definitely got the thing that we had at the start. But that's just one of those things, isn't it? But the birds have been looking after us and they are absolutely fine as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having an amazing day. Take care and see you later.